Thank you, everyone, for joining me on another episode of Cosmic Radio. Um, yeah. So I'm trying something else out today. I had to write my thoughts out just so that I remained clear. So, I am going to share something with you all that's dumb personal concerning authenticity. um, this is the part of my journey that has been the toughest. You've heard me speak about fear and how I navigate it, and about my focus to level up and always evolve higher. With that, I felt the need to um, let down more walls and truly be vulnerable. Not that I haven't before, but this is different. I'm going to play a clip from something I saw on IG from Erwin McManus. I don't know much about this amazing soul besides the fact that he's a writer, he's a motivational speaker, and one half of the amazing podcast Mind Shift. If you haven't checked out Mind Shift, it is very thought provoking, very inspiring. And I stumbled across him during my research of frequencies. This man absolutely blew me away with his knowledge, delivery, and compassion for people. So the other day during a slow moment at work, I was scrolling through IG and stumbled across this clip, which I will play for you now.
If you want to elevate the resonance of your frequency, you have to be willing to become an authentic human being. And if I could summarize what authenticity translates into on a stage or in a conversation, is that you're allowing people to see you for who you really are. You're reducing the amount of image management and allowing people to enter into the space of your soul. And you have to decide, are you willing to give people the gift of who you are?
So the universe has this way of always showing me things that I'm questioning or pondering about through IG. I know that sounds crazy, but it is so true. You have no idea how many times this happens to me. I will be having some form of a revelation. I will open up Instagram and it'll either be the first or the second post, or sometimes even the third post that will either be confirming that or aligning with that same revelation or that same thought or whatever. It's really quite amazing. And what's so funny is I didn't take inventory of my thoughts until I saw the clip. I know you all have heard me talk about this new position I have, and it's going well. I'm still learning and getting comfortable with the role and the people. And it's that part I want to focus on, is getting comfortable with the people. I noticed that I do this thing that has traveled with me from childhood, is putting on the showbiz mask. Yeah. When I feel uncomfortable, or I feel like I won't be understood, or if I simply feel like I need to protect myself, I'll put this mask on. And this mask allows me to give just enough to appear genuine, but not enough to connect to people. I know. And then I decorate myself in an overabundance of kindness so no one then questions the surfaceness of the interaction. They feel safe, and I usually redirect the conversation for the other person to simply talk about themselves. Now, not to say that I'm not a kind person, but the kindness can be performative. I know this fully. And whew, I know that was probably a lot, but travel with me, okay? This I have done for years. I'm really good at it. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is a thing. This I learned through the entertainment world. Because you're not supposed to share all of yourself, then you have nothing for yourself. That's been the rule. The rule that is embedded in me deeply. But in these new times and in this new world, everyone is open enough to share of themselves without any hindrances or second thoughts, allowing themselves to freely be vulnerable. And that previous concept of thinking still holds true, but in a different way. Holding those things hinders your connection and your art. People crave real because most times they can't be real themselves. This very concept I have been on a journey to achieve because this mindset has been embedded in me since I was 6 years old. Then match that with the parental and community expectations of me having to be the perfect concept of perfect. I've never been able to introduce myself fully to anyone. And let's not get into code switching at work. Okay. So let me introduce to you me. Hey, y'all. Hey. Lenny Harold, Glenn Adams, a beautiful black creative gay man. Now, regarding being a gay man in the entertainment industry, especially at that time, it felt most forbidden to even think those words, let alone say them, especially being black and gay. When you're out there doing shows, talking to press, meeting fans, you're expected to be the crooner they all came to see, the persona they've created in their minds. You can't show anything less than that because, frankly, it's too much for your PR team and your team in general to handle. They don't want to risk unraveling the image you've built or jeopardizing the support from the people paying your bills and essentially your team's bills. I wasn't a major artist, but I was being groomed to be one. Only a select few knew the truth because maintaining that facade was crucial. I was told I had to reach a certain level of success before I could even consider sharing this part of myself, in hopes that maybe once I got there, nothing would change. That my fans would still love me regardless. But in the meantime, I had to just put on another mask. This affected my romantic relationships as well. They were forced into hiding and abiding by these rules also, which complicated things like you wouldn't believe. Oh my God. The layers were thickening, and I was losing myself. That mask became a part of me on stage, off stage, even in spaces that I should have been safe. I carried it everywhere. The only time I could breathe was around my friends or alone in my room in the house I shared with the VP. And that was another added layer. But when I was with my friends, I could be myself. No mask, no layers. That freedom became everything to me. Now, I remember when I was signed to that same very complicated and controlling label, I came home to New Jersey from having been in LA for several months. I was home for a week, but it was the most freeing. I remember it took me 3 days to deprogram before I could genuinely be able to interact with my friends as myself, however fragmented or disjointed that was. But baby, the peace I felt though was like no other. So when it was time to go back to LA, when I arrived, the CEO noticed the change in me and only permitted me 3 days max at home because he could see that I needed to be reprogrammed to meet the expectations of what he wanted to sell to the people. My talent was never a question for him, my image was. So, when in the clip he says, reducing the amount of image management and allowing people to enter into the space of your soul, that shit really hit. Hence this podcast right now. Because in that moment, I had to go back to putting on that mask. And oh my God, to explain the level of image management I was in, I remember being told by a PR team that I spoke too well and I should begin to slur my words and deepen my voice a bit because they didn't want me to appear or be perceived as gay, but only the women loving crooner I was being groomed to be. That time for me was the heaviest. It was a lot to just, it was a lot to navigate. And there were a lot of alone time with me that was nothing but tears and frustration. It was a prison, to say the least. I didn't want my love for music to be taken away because of what my spirit had to endure. And there are a lot more details I could share, but I'll stop there. Um, Maybe that will be another pod episode. But I stepped away from that situation, and it took me a year in the New York Supreme Court to break that contract, but it was achieved. They were so angry they tried to stop me from singing altogether. Again, that's a whole nother story, and whatever. But anyway, all that programming took a lot to break from. As you see, I'm still tearing away those layers. But circling back to interacting with people, I don't know how to do that anymore. I don't know how much to give and what to hold back. Um, that's why networking has never been my thing. Never been my thing. But yeah, you should hear all the thoughts rolling around in my head, trying to be cool or understood. Excuse me. Not trying to come off weird or quirky, or simply just wanting to be liked and still trying to be organic as much as possible. So my defense is to be quiet and haunt the background as much as possible. And as of late, going out and being amongst people exhausts me. Just the idea of it exhausts me because I know I will revert to the mask, and I don't want to do that. I also think it's unfair to practice with people because while I figure out how to interact, they are receiving different versions of me, which people will have and create of me regardless, but still. This week, I noticed how much I was in my head with my coworkers. This has caused me to either overprove myself or just, again, be silent and give absolutely nothing. My personality wants to break out, but then what is my personality? I know everyone is listening like, you need a therapist. And I do. I do. I'm gonna start looking for one. Don't you worry. But listen, a lot of things I can do on my own, and other things I think I need professional guidance. And knowing that is not weakness, that is maturity. Okay. The challenge of who am I has me a bit all over the place, and that's okay. And I know this means that my plate is clear to recreate myself anew. And maybe that is what I am to receive from my experience this week. That I can be whoever I choose and be that fully. And if I want to change to be something different the next day, I can. This may be that trial, if you will, that I spoke of a few episodes ago. Hmm. Hmm. I think also I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to be this authentic version of myself because I truly want to evolve. And it just doesn't work like that. I need to simply breathe and just live. Yeah. So I need to begin to show myself a lot more kindness and patience during this. I know for me, I have definitely become this person that wants to quickly get to the end result. I love the process, but when I feel like the process is like it's going on for too long, it's like, oh my God, I need to get to the end. And then I just want to skip some chapters and just read the last. And just so that I know the conclusion. And then I can go back and go, okay, so the process, I understand what the process is. But that's not life. That's not how it works. So I need to show myself patience and kindness, um and I just need to endure because all of this is character building. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, thank you for enduring this journey with me as I grow right in front of your ears. Um, this authenticity truly begins right here with me explaining all of this, being fearless enough to peel back the layers. Because in my personal life, for the most part, everyone knows the parts of like this part of who I am. But from the entertainment aspect or perspective of myself, no one truly knows that I am a gay man carving out space for himself in this vast little universe. Um, and not like this is a major part of who I am, but it is a piece that needs full exposure. I've written about it in song form, but never really spoke plainly about it. So this is me letting go of those parts of that mask that don't serve me. And this feels wonderful. Now, there's a song that I wrote on my New Testament Warrior project that is available wherever you listen to your music. Shameless plug. The song is called What I Want, and in the bridge I wrote, no more caring about what others think. I'ma live for me. My life doesn't take anything away from my artistry. This may make you uncomfortable and change your love for me. That just means when you said you loved me, you didn't know what it means. And this song is about me having to put on that mask and shield this particular part of me because it didn't it didn't serve the industry goal or that team's goal of me being like an out artist, and not necessarily like I needed to be an out artist, um but I just couldn't be truthful, and it's really just about that struggle and coming to terms of just being like, I'm done with that. I'm absolutely done with that. Like, if this is a part of me, this is just who I am, and I want to live in that, you know and from the perspective of the music perspective, of the art perspective, because if I'm not being authentic even on that level, then my art isn't being authentic. You know what I mean? Me as a person, that has been shared, that has been experienced. But from the perspective of my art or what I am presenting to the world, that hasn't been shared. It hasn't been spoken of. So this was I remember I cried after I wrote this song, and I felt so free, so free. But I know a lot of people still haven't heard that song, which is fine, you know. But me as an artist, I just need to be, in order for my art to shine, in order for me to shine, I just need to be real on all levels. Not like I have to make that the general idea of where my art comes from, but I need to be able to pull from that part of me without second thought and let it guide my art when that inspiration arises. So, yeah, thank you for listening to this. Thank you, thank you. Yet still will I say I am grateful for the experience because it taught me a lot. Everything I've endured is a lesson in character, endurance, and in faith. So, I see all this experience from such a wider gaze, and I am thankful, like thoroughly thankful, because for whatever reason, I was supposed to go through that to have this very moment right here to explain or share for whatever reason, whether if it's to inspire, whether if it's to just free myself for whatever else is to come, And this is now the timing for it. So I'm thankful for it all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, y'all. I hope this cast encourages you in some way. You got something from it, and please leave me a comment. Let's start a conversation. I need to practice, damn it. But no, 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 no. For real, for real. I would love to hear other perspectives as well. I would love to keep this conversation going. I really, 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 truly would. So yeah, please leave a comment and yeah, and check out the journal prompt. And remember, y'all, follow your art. I'm out. I love y'all. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into Cosmic Radio. Your presence here means the universe to us. If you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did, please leave us a 5-star review. And if you feel inspired, share this episode with a fellow creative. Let's build this cosmic community one episode at a time. And now, I close with this. It only takes one decision to raise your frequency. Ask yourself, who do I choose to be? Oh, and one last thing. Follow your art. Yours in shadows and in starlight. LH.
Transmission complete. Signal disengaged.